Welcome to your Daily Writing Habit, episode number 83. I'm your host, Christine Whitmarsh, also known as Christine Inc., I-N-K, if you're looking me up online, or christine-inc.com. Each and every day, I'm sharing with you the writing habits I've learned over my 18 years as a ghostwriter, book coach, and author. I've learned that three types of habits can have a huge impact on your success as an author: writing fundamentals, productivity, and mindset. Now, because one of my core values is to inspire, I've been opening recent broadcasts here with inspirational quotes to get you fired up about writing your book or just kind of inspired about life in general. So here's a really great one on the subject of happiness. And here's the quote. "And I urge you to please notice when you are happy and exclaim or murmur or think at some point, if this isn't nice, I don't know what is." And that is by the late, great Mr. Kurt Vonnegut, favorite author of mine. And I mentioned that it's episode number 83. It also, for those of you listening live, it is July 4th. So happy Independence Day to all my fans here in America, July 4th, if you're listening live on Amazon Alexa. It's also my 10-year wedding anniversary, believe it or not. Long story about how my husband and I, we wanted to have a date that we wouldn't forget. So we chose July 4th, a few other reasons too. And I had shared earlier this week the story of how when Mike and I met back in 2008, I was like smack dab in the middle of my total Vonnegut obsession phase. I was reading every book the guy ever wrote over and over and over again. And then I met Mike, and he's a Vonnegut fan too. And that certainly helped with the courtship. And we were actually even going to say, so it's funny, like, so you're listening to this today. This is my 10-year anniversary. 10 years ago when we got married, we were going to close our wedding vows with "and so it goes." And of course, we both completely forgot that. Funny how those wedding days work. So when speaking of Mr. Vonnegut, when people ask me for writing advice, a lot of it's partially recycled. I mean, how many wheels can we invent here? So it's recycled from famous writers who inspired me, along with my own twists. So with Kurt Vonnegut, one of the things I like about him is just the way the man obviously loved words, just the way he crafted words together. You could tell he was just obsessed with language. And also, I love his characters and how eccentric they were and deep, and they all had very interesting worldviews. So I could never wait to hear the next character, or go to the old stand by his favorite character, obviously Kilgore Trout, a representation of him, and just really overall his intelligently cynical views of the world as I thought of it. So what does this have to do with your writing, most importantly? Well, Mr. Vonnegut had 8 basic rules of creative writing, and I kind of seem to be quoting these to my coaching clients quite a bit. So in recent episodes of your Daily Writing Habit, episodes 80 through 83, if you're looking this up later on, I've been sharing those rules 2 at a time, but with a twist. First, Mr. Vonnegut's version, and then my adaptation. So today, we have come to the last 2, rules number 7 and 8. Rule number 7, write to please just one person. If you open a window and make love to the world, so to speak, your story will get pneumonia. See, I told you, the guy just had a way with words. And my interpretation is, picture your ideal reader and write only to that person. This is a big one that I hit on with my clients quite a bit, because when I ask them about their target reader, sometimes I get, women between the ages of 30 and 60. I say, okay, great. Pick one woman and tell me all about her. And that kind of takes people off guard, because they're just like, well, I'm writing to a ton of people. You don't obviously just want one person to read your book, but this is and I've talked about this in a few other episodes, the laser beam versus spotlight theory, that if you write with the specificity of choosing one person who needs to read your book or who wants to read your book more than anyone on the planet, other people will notice that laser beam. They'll be attracted by the specificity of your writing. And even if they don't think that you're writing to them, it's a very attractive book because of that specificity. So if you think of, what can you see from outer space? You see the, like spotlights on a Hollywood red carpet during a movie premiere, or can you see the laser beam that shines out of the top of the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas? Well, you can see the Luxor, you can't see the spotlights. So picture your ideal reader, write only to that person, create that laser beam, and that's how you'll attract other readers. Rule number 8, give your readers as much information as possible as soon as possible. To heck with suspense. Readers should have a complete understanding of what is going on, where and why, that they could finish the story themselves should cockroaches eat the last few pages. So my interpretation is, you have a few precious seconds to get your reader's attention before they click away to the next thing, or in the case of a book, before they close the book and put it back on the shelf. With nonfiction books, I am always telling my authors, you have the introduction. You have until the end of the introduction to make your case. This book is for you, and this is something that you're going to want to read, that you're going to want to keep going with. So the introduction is where you're, introducing yourself. You're creating that all important rapport with your reader, hopefully by sharing a personal story or something personal so that they can connect with you on that human level versus just, here's my book and this is what it's going to do and I hope you read it. And those things are important to include, but really make sure you share of yourself personally in some way in your introduction, because that's for me the best use of those precious seconds to get your reader's attention before they move on to the next thing. So, cockroaches, as Kurt Vonnegut said, cockroaches might not eat the end of your blog post, but it might accidentally get deleted. So you never know. So get your reader's attention as quickly as possible by earning their trust. And that's the end of our 8 rules series, 8 basic rules of creative writing and my interpretation of them. And as Mr. Vonnegut would have said, and so it goes. Thank you for joining me here today on Your Daily Writing Habit, where I'm helping you write and finish writing an awesome book. And if you know someone else who wants to do the same thing, I would love it if you would let them know about Your Daily Writing Habit. Thank you very much. And until tomorrow, and again, happy 4th for everybody listening live. Happy writing.